Hi folks, so welcome to the first lecture for bearings and compass directions. Now bearing can be expressed as a true bearing or a compass direction. Now when we express something as compass directions, there are a couple of rules that we need to be aware of. Rule number one, these are measured going from north to south or south to north in either a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. So if we were to have a look at this, so I'm going to use some different colors here so they stand out. So if I was to express something as a compass direction, it would go from north to south in the clockwise direction or north to south in the anti-clockwise direction. Similarly, using a different color again, if I was to go from south to north, I would go in the anti-clockwise direction that way, or I would go in the clockwise direction that way. Okay. Now, number two is we need to write the compass directions according to a few specific formats. So whether the angle was first measured from north or south, okay, so whether it's going from north to south or south to north, that's number one. The size of the angle, okay, now the size of the angle has to be less than 90 degrees. And part C is whether the angle is in the direction of west or east. Okay, so that's the third consideration we need to put into when we are expressing something as compass directions. So now let's have a look at a couple of examples that have been given here. So we have the north, south, and east-west two-dimensional compass. Okay, then we have been given this blue dotted line here, and we've been asked to express the angle of 46 as a compass direction. Now remember, the first consideration is whether the angle was measured from north or south. As we can see, this is clearly being measured from the south because it's going in the clockwise direction. So remember, starting at south, going clockwise towards north, okay? And it measures an angle of 46 degrees. So the first bit is south, okay? So because it's starting at south, then the angle that it measures is 46 degrees. Then, whether it's in the angle in the direction of west or east, in this case, it's going towards west. So it's south, 46 degrees west. Similarly, we have north, south, east, west here. And this is the angle that we have to determine. So this time around, we are starting at north. North going towards east, okay, going in a clockwise direction. And as we approach east, we stop at the 14-degree mark. So it's north is where we start, then 14 degrees east. Simple as that. Now, as we do a few more questions, this will become a lot more easy. So let's have a go at the first one. So this question says, draw the following compass directions. Oh, well, there you go. Let's try and draw these compass directions. So we have A, which is south, 62 degrees east. Okay, so let's draw this out. So we have north, south, east, and west. Now, as the compass direction tells us, we first start from south, and we go towards east this time. So we're going towards east, okay? And then, using a different color here, this is our angle that is formed, okay? So that angle right there is 62 degrees. So that's it right there, folks. So that is how we draw the compass direction for south, 62 degrees east. Now let's move on to part B. We have north, 14 degrees west. So once again, let's draw this out. We have north, south, east, and west. Now we have north 14 degrees west, so we're going 14 degrees towards west, starting at north. So starting at this end, going this way, using a different color. We have this dotted line here, and that angle right there is 14 degrees. So starting at north, going towards west, and counting 14 degrees. Fantastic. Let's have a go at part C. So once again, let's draw out our compass. North, south, east, and west. Okay, so we have south, 56 degrees west. Now this time we are starting at south, and we are going towards the west direction. Okay, so again, using our different color, we have this particular line here. All right, so, and this angle that's been measured for us is 56 degrees. Because remember, folks, we're starting at south, counting a 56-degree angle towards the westerly direction. All right, now let's have a go at parts D, E, and F. Okay, so D tells us north 65 degrees east. So we're starting at north this time, and we're going in the easterly direction. So if I was to draw this out, there we have it. So that angle right there is 65 degrees. Then we have south 11 degrees east. So starting at south, we're going in the easterly direction. So if I was to draw this out, that bit right there is 11 degrees. Simple as that. Now, folks, if you're getting comfortable at this point, please do pause the video and have a go at part F yourself. Okay, so we have north. So now we're starting at north and we're going towards the westerly direction. And we need to count out, or we need to measure an 83-degree angle, which is approximately that much. Now, again, this doesn't have to be to scale, but just try and get it to approximates, and you will have the right answer. Okay, so that's north, starting at north, counting 83 degrees towards the westerly direction. Alrighty, let's have a look at the next question. So this question says, determine the compass directions of the following. Alright, so now we're getting into the opposite of what we just did. Okay, we've been given the compass and we need to actually determine what the compass direction is. Now, in this case, we do need to be very careful and very aware of the rules that go behind expressing compass directions. Remember, it has to either start from north or south. 2, we need to determine the angle that it forms between the north and east, or north and west, or south and east, and south and west. And once again, we need to determine which direction, east or west, it's going towards. So in this case, let me highlight, we are starting at north, and we are going in the easterly direction. So that would be north, and the angle that we measure out is 12 degrees in the easterly direction. B. All right, so now, again, we are below the, I guess one way you can look at it is that we are below this horizontal line here, which we can call it the x-axis if you like. Since we are below the x-axis, we are looking at we are obviously starting at south. Now, we are starting at south, and we're going in the westerly direction. Now, this bit is interesting. Now, they have given us this particular angle here, which is 21 degrees. However, what we need is this angle here. Now, we know that forms a 90 degrees. So since 90 degrees is what the entire thing forms, 90 minus 21 will give us what this particular angle is, which is, in this case, 69 degrees. Okay, so coming back to it, so we are starting at south, traveling or going 69 degrees in the westerly direction. Okay, similarly, so again, we are below the x-axis. So we're looking at a start where from south, going towards the easterly direction. So we have south. We need to determine what this particular angle is. In this case, it is 90 minus 60, which gives us 30 degrees. So south, 30 degrees in the easterly direction. Okay, and then finally we have part D. So now we're above the x-axis, so we are starting at north, going in the westerly direction. Now we need to determine what this particular angle is right there. That would be 90 minus 31, which gives us a value of 59 degrees. Okay, so we are starting at north, going for 59 degrees in the westerly direction. So not N, 59 degrees, W. Beautiful. Now let's have a look at what true bearings are all about. Okay, so true bearing, again, has a couple of rules that we need to be aware of in order to express something as true bearings. They are always measured going from north in a clockwise direction. So always in a clockwise direction and always starting from north. And they're always expressed in 3 digits. Okay, so these are the 2 rules that we need to be very aware of. So let's have a look at this question. So we have north, south, east and west. Okay, we have this blue line here. So once again, we need to start at north. Okay, so starting at north, going in the clockwise direction until we hit that line. So the angle that we've just measured going from north up to that line is 25 degrees. Now 25 written as 3 digits is simply 0.25. So 0.25 with a degree sign and T is the convention of how we write true bearings. Let's have a look at the second question. So again, north, south, east, west. The line has been drawn here, and the blue bit has been drawn to be 312 degrees. Remember, guys, we start at north and we keep traveling in the clockwise direction until we hit that line that we need to measure the angle of. In this case, that entire bit there is 312 degrees. So the convention in this particular case is to write 312 degrees T, and that will tell us that we have indeed written it in true bearing form. So let's have a go at a few questions. Okay, so this question says, draw out the following true bearings. All right, so let's draw this out. Okay, so we have 0, 1, 2, which is obviously 12 degrees, true bearing. So let's, if we were to draw this out, so we have the north and south here, and we have east and west here. Okay, so starting at north, we are traveling, again, remember, always clockwise when it comes to true bearing, so this way. And then we, using a different color here, we travel for 12 degrees. So if I was to draw this out, this would obviously still be in this particular quarter here, or the quadrant there. Because remember, this particular bit is 90 degrees, then we have 180, 270, and then back to 360, okay? So 12 degrees, if you measure it out, is simply about that much there. So that's 12 degrees, okay? All right, let's have a go at part B, which is 112 degrees this time, okay? So again, drawing out our little compass, north, south, east, and west, okay? So we have 112 degrees this time, so we need to go beyond just the 90, and then another 22 degrees, so we need to go all the way up to there. So again, using a different color this time. So we have that right there. So that right there is 112 degrees. All right, let's have a go at part C now. Which is north, south, east, and west. Now this time it is 216 degrees true bearing. So starting here, that's 90 degrees there, that's 180 there, and to get to 216 will obviously be between the 180 mark, which is going from north to south, and the 270 mark, which is going from north all the way around to the west. So 216 would be somewhere, using a different color, around here. Okay, so using my trusty white chalk again, there you go. So that is a true bearing of 216 degrees. And I should draw a little arrow there. And up here. So that's how we measure the true bearing, or that's how we demonstrate or illustrate the true bearing. Okay, so now let's move on to D, E, and F. So D is 341 degrees true. So once again, let's draw this out. We have north, south, east, and west. So we're doing 341 degrees starting at north and all the way around to in a clockwise direction. So starting at north, we get to 90 degrees by the time we hit the east line, then 180 when we hit the south line, 270 when we hit the west line, and then we have to go a little bit more to get to 341. And if we were to draw this line out right there, there we have it. So that right there is our true bearing, or the demonstration, or the illustration of 341 degrees true bearing. Okay, let's have a go at part E. So we have north, south, east, and west. Okay, so that's 65 degrees true. Okay, so starting at north, I'll have to get to 65 degrees, which is approximately there. There we have it. So we have 65 degrees right there. That's how we would illustrate 65 degrees true bearing. Now, folks, if you're feeling comfortable at this point, please do pause the video and have a go at part F yourself. So F, we have north, south, east, and west. So 180 degrees, now I have to use a different color here. 180 degrees starting from north, going all the way to south, actually hits us right there. So it's pretty much going straight down, okay? So that part right there that bit right there is 180 degrees. So, folks, that's pretty much how we do bearings and compass directions. Now, there's already a 15-minute long lecture, so I decided to split it into two different sections. We'll pick it up in the next lecture, which is part 2. Thanks, guys.